y bienvenidas y bienvenida al séptimo Encuentro Internacional México y Japón, con colaboración de la Universidad de Kyushu. Con este grupo empezamos a hacer encuentros en el año 2015. Entonces, hasta en este momento, pues he venido haciendo pues varios encuentros en diferentes sedes, no solamente en nuestro campus, sino también Ciudad de México, también Oaxaca, Toluca. Y en esta ocasión, bueno, vamos a escuchar en presentación de dos estudiantes, y posteriormente profesores van a hacer sus presentaciones. Y la primera ponencia que inició Shimizu va a presentar preferencias de colores entre flores mexicanos y japonesas. Entonces vamos a escuchar su presentación. La dinámica evento de hoy, primeramente vamos a escuchar 4 ponencias que aproximadamente durarían 15 minutos y posteriormente vamos a abrir espacio de preguntas y comentarios. Posteriormente, al final vamos a hacer taller de sopa de miso. Bueno, bienvenidos y bienvenidas.
Okay. Hola. Hola. Buenos tardes. Now I have a presentation. My name is Kenichiro Shimizu from Kyushu University, Faculty of Design. Today, I'm so glad to visit UNAM and see you. I'm interested in the difference of sensibility between Mexican people and Japanese people. The title of today's presentation is a survey on the differences in color preference between Mexicans and Japanese performers. I introduce myself. My name is Kenichiro Shimizu. Please call me Ken. My major is Faculty of Design, and I study design of landscapes. The subject of my paper is resilience of agricultural village landscape from heavy rain and landslide disaster. Like this, I'm using GIS for analysis. I'm living near sea, and I enjoy surfing in my hobby. At first, I have a question for you. What color do you prefer? A color is made from 3 elements: tone, saturation, and lightness. Tone is a difference of colors in the sample. This is tone. Yellow, blue, red. You can see gradation of color like this. Saturation is a difference of horizontal direction. It gets more vivid color going right side, and it gets more pastel color going left side. Lightness is a difference of height direction. It gets brighter on the top side, and it gets darker on the bottom side. Then what color do you prefer? Now, I want you to join my survey. You can choose one of these QR codes. It's up to you. Which one you choose? Type 1, 2, 3. Please scan QR code by your smartphone. Please. Can you scan? Anyone is okay. You can see a lot of questions, right? So please answer these questions. I will wait for your answer about 5 minutes. Okay? Please go ahead. Is it in Spanish?
Yes. Te lo voy a compartir.
Okay.
Así.
Esto como veis así.
Ah, es que sí. Ujú. Ujú.
Es que no tiene conexión. Sí.
At the end of the questions, please push the purple button.
Yeah.
Gracias.
Ready.
Did you finish?
Yes.
Can I start my presentation again?
Yes.
Thank you for your answering my questions. Gracias. Now I'm talking about the difference of colors mainly used in Japan and Mexico. These are pictures of Japan. Then these are pictures in Mexico. Now let's compare Mexican pictures and Japanese pictures. Like this. This woman is in Japanese traditional wear kimono. This clothes has a lot of colors, but all of them are pastel color. On the other hand, this woman is in Mexican traditional wear. This cloth has many vivid colors. Then this picture is painted with Japanese traditional technique. Also mainly has pastel color. On the other hand, this picture is painted by Fang Obo Goman. This has more stronger color than Japanese painter. Then, do you notice Japanese food? Okonomiyaki. Both of okonomiyaki and tacos look tasty. These colors are not so different. What do you think? Anyway, the last one is flower arrangement. This is the flower arrangement in front of family altar in Japan. And this is similar to your altar in Day of the Dead. Then this is the flower arrangement in the Day of the Dead. This flower arrangement made with many white color flowers, but the Day of the Dead flowers made by vivid colors flowers. Did you feel the difference of color between Mexican and Japanese? Now I'm talking about cosmos flowers. You must have seen this flower in my questions. Cosmos is originally come from Plateau area, Mexico. Cosmos was exported to botanical garden in Madrid, Spain in 18th century, and Japan imported cosmos from Spain in the end of 19th century. Now, Japanese people are familiar with cosmos well. This picture is cosmos field near my house with my family, my brother and his wife and my wife. Like this, we Japanese enjoy the landscape of cosmos every 4 seasons. Then there is a purpose of this survey. There is difference in the color used in life culture between Mexico and Japan, like the pictures in my slides. Perhaps there is a difference in color preference between Mexicans and Japanese. In this research, we will clarify the difference in color preference between 2 countries, focusing on the cosmos problem, which is native to Mexico and familiar to Japanese people. This is the hypothesis. Mexicans prefer vivid color, while Japanese prefer pastel color. This is a way of survey. I made 14 color patterns with cosmos picture. This is the original one. Here, it's original. And I changed the tone and saturation and lightness. And I also made a color pattern without cosmos compared to preference of colors is only for cosmos or not. Using these pictures, I made 3 types of questions set with randomly ordered. So I wanted you to choose 3 types. I show you 3 QR codes beginning of this presentation. Then you answer these questions in 7 steps. So yes, moderately yes, no. I show you the result before today. 11 Japanese friends answered this survey, and I had survey in Mexico City, in museum, in Casado area near my hotel. I got 10 answers in Mexico, but this result includes some foreigner from Chile, Colombia, Costa Rica, so it's survey not only for Mexican, but for North, Middle, and South American people. First, I was surprised that almost all Mexicans don't know cosmos well, like this. On the other hand, most Japanese knows cosmos well, and no one doesn't know cosmos like this. Today, I don't have enough time, so I want to refer to 2 patterns of them: cosmos with pastel pink and cosmos with vivid pink. Right. This is a result for picture of cosmos with pastel pink. 5 Japanese answered strongly yes, and all Japanese answered yes side. On the other hand, 3 people in Mexico answered strongly yes. 2 people answered moderately yes, but 1 answered moderately no, and 2 people answered strongly no. All Japanese prefer this color, but some in Mexico don't prefer this color. This is the result for picture of cosmos with vivid pink. Japanese answers like this, 3, 2, 1, 2, 2, 1, 1. The answers are scattered like this. On the other hand, 8 people in Mexico answered strongly yes. 1 person answered moderately yes, and 1 answered strongly no. The answer of Japanese are scattered, while almost all people in Mexico prefer this color strongly. This is a consideration of surveys. Today, we may see the trend that Japanese prefer pastel color, but Mexican prefer vivid color with 2-color pattern of cosmos. In my idea, these differences are based on the differences of colors of environmental factors. These colors of, for example, plants, animals, insects, or soils, and so on. Then, talking about myself, I usually prefer pastel color to vivid one. However, I really enjoy vivid color of my dissertation. Like this, it's so beautiful. So that's why I feel I understand you Mexicans' sensibility to seeing vivid color everywhere in city. It's so fun for me. Today, we may see the trend that Japanese, I said before. I will analysis all of data with statistical analysis and clarify the correlations after going back to Japan. So please be looking forward to the total result. Thank you for your joining today. That's all.
Muchas gracias. Entonces, pregunta y comentario va a hacer después de presentación de 4 personas. Entonces, a continuación, presentación de llamada llamada. Sí, Bueno, Ayuso nos va a hacer el favor de presentar sobre liderales, un estudio comparativo de liderales entre México y Japón. Vamos a escuchar su presentación.
Buenos días, me llamo Yamada. and I wrote Marcelo. This time, I'd like to talk about the center. The title is Observation of the Common View of Japan and Japanese. I tell you a bit about myself. I'm Azusa Yamada, and doctoral course program student in Kyushu University, Japan. In Mexico, it had begins the stained glass. My hobby is looking forward to the pottery and glassware. So I'm particularly interested in stained glass, which has a long history. I would like to make the stained glass in this talk and focus on how it has been used in Mexico and Japan. First, I introduce the history of stained glass. Next, why was
Baroque.
why was Baroque architecture so popular in Mexico? But most of stained glass in Mexico and Japan. Final survey of stained glass in Mexico and Japan. First, stained glass is made by cutting color glass into pieces and connecting them with lead rail to create a picture or pattern. Well, do you know where the word value stained glass?
Toluca?
I think and it is the botanical garden in Mexico. It is interesting that it is not the botanical garden. It is not a cornus. So Mexican Christians are more than 90% of the national population. And I thought it was interesting that stained glass is widely loved by people, not only as a religious object, but also as a pure architect technique. And in Japan, stained glass is also accepted as an art technique with a religion significance. I have examined the common stained glass image between these two countries from three different perspectives when I would like to introduce. And why was the stained glass adapted for the goods? There are two reasons. First, light represents God. The Bible says, I came into the world as light. Second, its function is a Bible for the poor. By picturing the contents of the Bible, even these who cannot read can understand the story. In this way, stained glass has become an important element of arts and has changing with the architecting style of each period. First, let me introduce the history of stained glass. The origin of stained glass is not certain, but stained glass did not exist until history came into existence. In other words, stained glass is the Christian art form. The oldest stained glass in the world was used in Germany around the 9th century. The oldest in the survived as a complete form It's from the 12th century. It is the project that production technique were already established at the time. The headache or stained glass weight in the 12th century, a period marked by the development of Gothic architecture from Romanesque. The use of stained glass, which convenience large windows, and with detailed coloring made parcel full light. However, the need to use glass become less and less important as the need for pictorial led to the decline in light transmission. The destruction of stained glass caused by the Malaysian revolution in the 16th century and the industrial revolution in the 18th century led to the decline in the use of stained glass. After that, there was not much room for the excess of the Renaissance and Convoca. Today, the technique is being revived and used as an art form and as a work of art that not contain religion element. Next, let us look at when stained glass was brought to Mexico. It is safe to associate the history with in 16th century and stained glass was brought to Mexico at the same time. Metropolitan Hall is the building of mixed the Renaissance and Baroque design. The work and line of this first illuminated by some first bold decorations. First, they would have been little or no stained glass. Its afterwards has and began to be worked in Mexico after the period of the decline of stained glass. And I believe that the value of glass equal stained glass is less important to Mexican than to Europe. In century, pastry was also introduced to Japan only after the decline of stained glass. However, many porcelain are modest due to the prohibition to pastry and wool. The first stained glass window in Japan were installed in the National Building. For the Japan, stained glass is often used in train station and Malaysian residing where it had no religion. Next, I will share the observation about the reason for the popularity of objects in Mexico. The first is the liberation culture of the indigenous Mexican people. They have a traditional of high civilization and a culture of decorating of the surface of building with padding and marks. This ancient tradition made the Spanish broken and give birth to the Mexican perfect. Or three-dimension over decorated clothes. The luxury interests which had made the use of stained glass candles. Another, possibly it many indigenous people were highly skilled craftsmen. It documents that many participants in associated in Mexican society were sculptural, goldsmiths, silversmiths, and lampsmiths. Therefore, it is true that their skill were used in the construction of the clothes. Now, let's take a look at the contemporary stained glass. Mexico has the largest stained glass window in the Cosmopolitan Botanical Garden. It was created by a Mexican, and the stained glass theme is harmony between making and the world. It is very interesting to note the link between the harmony of Mexican and Japan and the theme of the stained glass window. Next, in the Grand Hotel del Mexico. Have you been to know? This hotel was originally a department store that presenter make it this hotel. And stained glass window with their elegant and the free, so have become the centerpiece of the city. Next is the Grand Hotel. And this is the Japanese stained glass. Japanese stained glass is not only first, for example, station and the house. For example, this is a flower. This is a flower, and the Japanese technician use the not only all color, this color only color, and over their garden contain the plant. And finally, we conducted an central survey on the Japanese. This Japanese stained glass questionnaire. And this result with most Japanese are aware of stained glass and are familiar with it, having seen it their home and its restaurant. More than half were interested in having stained glass in their home, and those who answered no were only. And concerned about cost and strongness. Their results suggest that Japanese people perceive stained glass not only as a major element, but also as fashionable interior decoration. And we conducted this survey on Monday and Thursday of this week when we were in Mexico this time. Among time, I would like to show you the result. This time, Mexican 8 and another country before and 10. And this question here is where do you most associate stained glass with the youth? And this is a result of the survey. The very interesting is that almost people, this is the first, and almost people answer the stained glass is here, but another answer is the, for example, another country before nationes, but Mexican, almost Mexican select another, for example, hotel, restaurant, and house. So I'd like to hear more answer your so please take this almost finished. Thank you. I think the Japanese people have a mix of religion and culture. For example, we celebrate the Christmas even if we are not Christian, and visit shrine and temple. Yeah, it sounds like a chaos, but we don't care much about religion. And I think that by line this search, Mexico is also Mexico is also a country that naturally adapts its own style, the fusion of various cultures. So I think Japan and Mexico are similar in that they have a flexible mentality. Yeah, thank you so much.
presentación de doctora Eguchi, el doctor Murakami va a hacer presentación de institutos de sustentabilidad del que ellos pertenecen y va a hacer una breve presentación de su instituto.
I forgot the introduction of our university and program before, so I will provide information of our university and this program, just 5 minutes. Then Dr. Eguchi give a presentation about her research, and then I'm back. Okay. And do you know where is Kyushu University in Japan?
I know.
You know, but in Kyushu. Here is Japan, and Tokyo is here, and Fukuoka is southern part of Japan. And the distance from here to Ciudad de Mexico is 11,000 kilometers. Yeah. Yeah. But we have lots of connection between Japan to Mexico, and deep relationship over 400 years ago. For instance, do you know Felipe de Jesus? No, no,
No.
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 Felipe de Jesus is very famous in Mexico.
Really?
No,
Ah,
really?
no.
No, 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 no. I'm very impressive. I know. I saw you know everyone. Felipe de Jesus is very, very famous in Mexico in Christian. No. No. But he was killed in Nagasaki, Japan, 400 years ago. He traveled from Acapulco to Manila, but before then, his ship boat traveled in near Japan and Kochi area, and he arrested in Kyoto, and then traveled to southern part of Japan, Nagasaki, and killed. Yeah, then he became the Jesus. He's nearing God. Very famous. And Mexico and Japan concluded the first equality treaty in 1888, and many Japanese had immigrated to Mexico since 1897. So we have good relationship in culture, economy, religion, and government levels, and like this. And aim of this workshop, introduction of transdisciplinary activities of our program, exchanging information on topics of some students exploring in Mexico, and establishing international communications and good and deep relationships among Mexico and Asia. Our program is not major research, but sub-major. We have lots of topics and health, nature, emotional, social, and aim to establish a sustainable developmental society. Yeah. For instance, Professor Michikazu Hiramatsu researched fruit breeding, but now he is concentrated education of food habits and organic farming. So today, probably he will give some special Japanese food culture for you. Yeah, and our program is science knowledge and multidisciplinary activities, then transformation of the social structure. For instance, Dr. Kumi Eguchi, she will give a talk about urban engineering, right? No.
Not today.
But today she will give another some major topic. Textile, Japan and Mexico. And me, I'm measuring ants. I will give a talk later. Yeah. And then 2 students will join our program, and so already they are talking about topics. But Ms. Asa Yamada is a doctoral course student of environmental microbiology. She is focused on a microbe of the hair, but in our program, she is concentrated to deepen the culture. For instance, glass of Mexico and Japan, or textile too.
And pottery or
Pottery.
yeah.
So very transdisciplinary activities in this program. And Ms. Keiichiro Shimizu, and the doctoral course students also disaster management using the GIS or something else. And he is focused on the resilience from disaster. But in a program, he is studying about other topics like color of flowers or some plant ecology or something else. And the relationship between a program to UNAM, Harimura Sensei published a paper in a journal, for instance. And Tanya, she was visiting scholar in Kyushu University. Then from 2015, our program and UNAM joint session. So this is 7 times workshops. So we hope to deepen the relationship between Mexico and Japan today. Thank you so much.
En los últimos años se ha dedicado a investigar los textiles, bueno, en diferentes como partes del mundo, tanto Japón como México, hay como distintos, como hay similitudes a veces en las técnicas de textiles y, bueno, aquí se conoce pues Ika, pero en japonés se dice Kafuri y hoy va a presentar sobre esta investigación. presentation about interdisciplinary study of evaluation of Kasuri culture. Kasuri is a traditional textile we can find in Japan, Mexico, and in the world. I will tell you what it is. So, ¿conoces este?
Kimono.
Sí, sí, sí. Este de México. Rebozo. Ah. Bravo. Nombre Kasuri Rebozo. But we are using the same technique in these textiles. Can you imagine? But why we found, as Murakami Sensei said, we are living in very far in the world. But why we found the same technique in these textiles? I will tell you about that. And this is also, and this is Japanese Kasuri. So today I'm doing a kind of Mexicana, japonés ocasión. So today's objective is to introduce about the Kasuri, and in Mexico we call it rebozo, and the Mexico and Japanese Kasuri rebozo. And then I will tell you about the history and the contemporary status of these textiles. And then for finish, I will tell you about our research about the world's Kasuri situation or the interdisciplinary study. Firstly, I will tell you about the rebozo. Do you know about the rebozo a little bit, or sometimes do you wear rebozo? No. Yes. So these young guys are wearing rebozo.
When I went,
¿Lo usan para arrullar a los bebés?
Maybe like that, yeah.
She says we use it to carry our babies.
Yeah. I found that used in the Tenan symbol, the production area. And we can say that the rebozo is a kind of fashion symbol of the Independence Day. Maybe you may know those people, and they are wearing the rebozo. And the rebozo, or do you know the name haspe? No. The rebozo is precisely this means the show. This kind style textile or the wearing month, we call it rebozo, and haspe is for the technique in precisely. And this feature of rebozo is, as you see, this is about 2 meters long, and we have this body part and the tuft part. And this part, the men live here, and then the women live here, the top. So we separate them. So let me look at a little bit history of rebozo, and maybe you know the Spanish verb rebozar. This is from the name rebozo is from rebozar, the verb rebozar, to cover. And this rebozo is in Mexico. They were producing from the 16th century, from 1572. Did you know about that? It's very history. And here I wrote down many production area names. And this is the maps of the production area. And you can find this is very similar to this map. This map means the living area of the Indian people. So we can say that this is a part of the India's culture. And to look at about today's main production area, it is Tenancingo de Degajado. Do you know the name? No. So it is straight. It's here in Mexico City, and Tenancingo de Degajado is here. And they are producing the rebozo since the 17th century, and it was branded by the local government in the 19th century, and that was the heyday of the production of the
rebozo there. Even today, we have much production in Tenashingo delta, but after the COVID-19, it is declining, unfortunately. But today, we still have the Feria del Rebozo since 10 years ago. And there, we visited how they produce the rebozo. Do you know how they produce rebozo? There are two ways to produce rebozo. One is to use the waste machine to have a tension, and then weave like this. And it takes to weave this kind of rebozo, it takes about 3 months. And other way is to use the foot machine like this machine, and it can make rebozo 6 rebozo per day. It means 12 meters per day. So it is very fast. And this is this woman is called Empuntadores, who weave this part. It's very beautiful. Now let us look at how it's kasuri. Kasuri is Japanese rebozo in Japan. This is the pattern, major pattern in a major area of production area in Japan. And now we have the ryukyu. After that, I will tell you how kasuri arrived in Japan. But the firstly, ryukyu in the southern island in Japan, they produced the kasuri after the arrival of the kasuri from the Southeast Asia. And we have 3 major production areas in Japan. Here is near our university, Kurume, here in Kyushu. They are producing kasuri since 200 years ago. And this is a typical pattern called falling snow. And the other major area is in Bingo in Hiroshima here, and Iyo. And yeah, you can see that they were made of the indigo and cotton. So, I said about we use the same technique to produce these textiles in Mexico and Japan. But the definition of kasuri, I wrote down what it's, but this is not printed. This is not printed. They tie up the yarn before dyeing to leave the part which is white or other colors to create these motifs. A little bit difficult to imagine, so I will show you how they produce the kasuri. And firstly, in Japan, we have the production process. There is a very particular paper for designing, and this width is 38 centimeters. And this and we have this part, and then we calculate how we organize the pattern, and then write down in the paper. And after that, this sketch is passed to the thread that serves as a guide to by Chinese ink traditionally. And after that, we have the tying process. And this is a very traditional process. Some people are doing machine today. And the motifs of kasuri characterized by the mooring technique. And according to design, the thread is rolled up and the tied in part corresponding to the motifs. Can you imagine it? After that, traditionally, we have the indigo dyeing process. And it takes very squeezed with force with all the yarn taken out of the vessel. And then he hits them on the ground for the oxidization. To have the light color, it took like 10 to 15 times, and to have the darker color, we have 30 or 40 times to battling in the field. And after that, we have the yarn sun drying process. And a glue is applied so that it does not get undone and to dry under the sun. And after that, we roll up this thread onto the wheel. And after that, the thread was arranged to the machine like this. And after that, we have the process of the weaving. And we have the two types of weaving, machine weaving or the hand weaving, handwork, feather weaving. But if we use machine, we have the very precise or sensitive technique to arrange the motifs. And so that, and now we have 3 types of kasuri, and here in Mexico or Tenancingo, we have this type, vertical kasuri, but only the vertical yarn is dyed to create the motifs pattern. So we have this called vertical kasuri, and we have other type, horizontal kasuri, and we have the very difficult type, the double cut. The both yarns are dyed. Ikat is the English name of kasuri. So that from that kasuri, we have this kind of kimono. Or traditionally, we have this kind of plant called monte. So now let's look at the history and the current status of the propagation of kasuri. This technique, kasuri, was originated in India in the 8th century. And for Japan, it was transferred through Ryukyu Islands from the Java around the 15th century. Here you have the world map of kasuri. And let's look at the origin of India. In India, the kasuri was born in the northern part, and then was spread to the southern part. And this is the major merchandise of India, like this. The Indian kasuri is like this, called patola. Patola is a major trade merchandise at that time. And in the same period, we found the imported kasuri, the shosoin or Horyuji temple, the storage. This. And the kasuri was spread to Southeast Asia with the propagation of Hinduism and Buddhism, like this, through Indonesia. And then it was transferred to Ryukyu Island in Japan, and then it goes to Japan. The example of Southeast Asia from Indonesia is like this. This is a kind of primitive type of ikat. And in Europe, we can find also the same technique. And before the Europe, it was propagated through Islamic merchandise in 10th century, and also with the East India Company. And in the intermediate area, we can find in Uzbekistan, we are having a kind of this pattern, a very large wide pattern, and it is made of silk and called Atlas silk. If we look at the European ikat or European kasuri, it's very different from Mexico or Japan, because they prefer the flower motifs. And in French, they call it chenille. And they made with this kasuri in the French dress like this at the 18th century. And even the Marie Antoinette preferred this kasuri. And so we are having her example books. Even today is remained, and her made her dresses with kasuri like this, and this is a reprinted example with the books of Marie Antoinette in Fukuoka Fusion. But in France, we researched the situation of the production of this textile, but it is declining, or it was it was already gone. We could found only for the wallpapers for the in the 1980s for the very high branded food. We found only those cases. So now let's look at the next one. Maybe you know the history of the trade between Philippines and Acapulco. Maybe you know very much about that. From Mexico, the silver was transported to Manila since 16th century. And from Manila, the pottery or silver fabrics, furniture, or cotton fabrics were transported to Acapulco. At that time, the ikat, which were exported, was transferred to Mexico. But we have the same problems. Now the situation of the production is declining all over the world. Even if you look at the real custody, here we have the chart, but this is declining. We have only about 21 ateliers in near Fukuoka. So now we are having our interdisciplinary research project in Japan with students or the students. And to show you about a little bit about our theme is to have the evolutionary phylogenetic study of accessory design. It means how we develop the motifs in the world, and then to have the construction of digital archive of ikat all over the world. And then to end, also we have the psychological study of how we recognize about the motifs as beautiful in all the custody of motifs all over the world. And finally, I will show you about the project of the digital archive. This is based on the biological method, and we were collecting the research each with small motifs like this, and we will have the interview information and the research area. For the conclusion, the Kasuri is the connects Japan and Mexico, but it is in danger of extinction or decline in both country and in the world. So I believe that it is important to create digital archive or to do the interdisciplinary study to evaluate and record this rare culture to enter. Just gracias.
Y a continuación vamos a escuchar presentaciones de hormigas de doctor Murakami, que pues especializa en biología.
Huevoso, porque te estás como María Antonieta. Ah, entendí la expresión. Mi abuelito sabe esos de bolita alemán, pero así originales. Desde que ella decía pues que enrollabas y que cabía en un anillo. Ay, pero bien calientitos.
And today I will talk about the ants. Here the ants sing. You know, ants can sing. Before then, ¿conoces el nombre de este plato?
Escamole.
Oh. Escamoles. What is the ingredient of escamoles? This white thing. What was this?
And egg.
And eggs. But it's not egg, but the larvae and pupae of leaf-cutting ants. Do you know leaf-cutting ants? No. parasol hormigas. Parasol hormigas. It's very famous ants in Central America and very big economic and agricultural pests. Yeah.
Solenopsis?
No. Solenopsis is fire ants. Leaf cutting ants cutting leaf and bring the leaf piece from the forest. Bring back to the.
Cortadoras de hojas.
What's the name in?
Cortadoras. Hormigas cortadoras.
Hormigas cortadoras. Sí, and escamores can eat in el refugio in Ciudad de Mexico. It's very expensive dishes, but very tasty. And today I will talk about leaf cutting ants to control sound or vibration signals. But basically, ants are good at communicate with chemical signals. Probably you notice the pheromone, trail pheromones, or body surface cuticular hydrocarbon recognize the individuals within the nest. But ants communicate with respiratory, vibrational, or signals. Several ants have been known vibrational signals only control simple activities, but about 10 years ago, vibration mimicry was found in the butterfly. The butterfly mimicked the ant sound to get the care from the ants. So the vibrational signal is very important in ant societies. So we are focused on the vibrational signal of ants. Where or how do ants hear and produce the sound or vibration? Do you know ant sound produced? We wanted this part. They have some many street, and move the abdomen and quick sound make. And they have the ear into the legs. They locate the ear is located on the tibia like this, yeah. Here and here, yeah. And then my main research ants is fungus-growing ants and leaf-cutting ants. The ants belong to Myrmecia and distributed on North and South and Central America, and 260 species. They cultivate fungus into the nest, and it is main food sources. And this ant is very interesting. Very small, tiny society species to very big, over 100,000 workers in the nest. Leaf cutting here. So it is very suitable to assess the evolutionary process of several theories. Then my co-researcher developed a very high resolution recording device for very small tiny insects. This machine is very cheap. Usually, this spec of device is developing around 3 million. I don't know. Peso, I don't know, peso. Peso, 300만 yen. 300만 yen, but how much? 300만 yen.
$3 millones de pesos. Pero eso está en yenes. Pero ¿este con yenes?
Sí.
Esos son 3 millones de yenes.
Very expensive. But our team can develop only around 1万円は
2000 pesoぐらい。
2,000 pesos. So very cheap. Do you want to hear the sound?
Yes.
Please listen and answer what they say. This is answer. Leaf cutting ends. And what does she say? No. Once again, please listen carefully. She is cutting very good beef. So, yeah, and then this is the same species, the same workers produce the different sounds. What does she say?
Come help.
Huh?
Come help.
No.
Stop doing that.
No, she's cutting not so good leaf. So the sound is different from the leaf qualities. It's very impressive. The other one.
High quality. The other one is hop.
Very big sound. Who is producing this sound?
There's Queen there.
Queen. Cheating. This sound produces the queen, and this signals makes a worker stopping. When the nest is destroying someone's, queen makes this sound, and workers stay here, and then queen is escaping. Do you understand? No?
So they stay while
and
the
fight.
nest is being destroyed, and she has time to escape.
Yeah.
Sacrifice.
Sacrifice yourself.
So yeah, do you understand the and sound is very important to communicate each other? Very good. So okay. And then if you could have a conversation with an ant, what would you ask it? Please consider. Then Tanya and helps our project, and we have got the data, the evolutionary importance of sound. This is the evolutionary orders. Yellow one is very primitive, small species, and green one is leaf-cutting, very high society, very big colonies, and division of labor is over 30. And this graph indicating the frequency of vibration signal. Then the society is getting bigger, very talkative. It's very impressive. The society is getting bigger. It is necessary to communicate deeply, so they should talk. It's very similar with human society. It's very suggestive data. Then Tanya will also help to get data using the scanning microscopic data like this. This is the stridulatory organ, sound produced organ. We got the many photos of microscope and count the street numbers and measure the size of the organ. Then it is also correlated with the evolutionary process and the structure of sound producing organs. Yeah. And then the leaf cutter ants produce 15 different vibration signals. We have in Japan 51 sounds in language. How about Spanish? 26. A, B, C, D.
27.
Yeah. But ants, looking at 15 different sounds, I've got this statistically different sounds. So it is relatively many sounds they produce. Then I control the inhibition of signals. Very mad science. I put the group, the sound produced area, they couldn't produce sound. And then the other group, the bottom of the abdomen, they cannot produce the chemical from the abdomen. And then the control, I put the group here, no effect. And then put workers in the fungus gardens. Okay, and one week really. Then the result is very interesting. Control is kept 100% fungus garden weight. But sound inhibited groups, 1 week ago, the size is getting smaller, about 50%. Then chemical inhibited groups at 75%, so 25 smaller. These are significantly different between each other. So sound or vibration signal is much important rather than chemical in leaf cutting ants. Yeah, this is very interesting. And leaf cutting ants using vibration signal to control the social behaviors. Then I said before, this ants is very huge economic and agricultural pest in Central and South and North America. Even in Mexico. Do you know the leaf cutting ants in the very bad, harmful pest in Mexico? No, mainly south part, citrus or avocado tree, the cut leaves. So many budget consumed to control the leaf cutting ants in Mexico, Brazil, Cuba, Colombia, Peru. And I have a plan to control using sound and collaborate with the some companies. And now I'm deeply connected with Bayer. Bayer is an agricultural chemist. But in SDGs or ESG world, it's a chemical process is very big impact for environment. But sound vibration control is very safe or not big impact for environment. And in the future, probably I will provide new device to control ant behavior to shrink the fungus garden using vibration overnight. Yeah, and then Taiwanese fire ant control companies collaborate with me, and then I put the device onto the fire ant nest, and vibration producing onto the nest. They escape from the nest, and then we capture the fire ants in the box. It's very easy and not impact for environment. it's very good control way. And in Japan also, we collaborate with the termite control companies. So very basic behavioral ecology research topics connected to this whole social program. So this is our program aim. Connect with many dimensions of the research and social problem solving in all over the world, even in Japan and Mexico and Brazil, something else. And I would like to talk about this topic later. Thank you so much.
¿Tiene algún comentario o pregunta a los ponentes? No sé si alguien quiera preguntar.
Yeah.
You know the range of frequencies that this ARM produce?
Frequency.
Yeah.
Wide range from 100 hertz to much higher is the 20,000 hertz. But the main,
It's about the same.
yeah, and but mainly they use the 200 hertz. 140, yeah, 400. Thank you. They have better.
Dale.
They have better.
No.
No.
Yeah, but I was on her
Needle
or topic. We know about this.
Okay.
Like nothing?
Nothing, yeah.
A continuación, el doctor Kiramas nos va a presentar la sopa de miso, y entonces esto va a ser al mismo tipo de taller, al mismo tiempo va a ser un taller. Tenemos ingredientes para que lo descubrir.
ほら、メジャーの短く平野と。Miss especialistas son la horticultura y las ciencias de la vida. Can you understand?
Yeah, I think so.
Hoy me gustaría enseñarte a preparar sopa de miso, un plato tradicional japonés. Por favor, utiliza el español para el texto y el inglés para las palabras. Okay?
Okay.
So, by the way, do you know how to make the miso soup?
Yes.
Yes.
With miso.
Well,
Se va a Japan.
if you don't know, please, you don't mind. So please learn it from my lecture. So the process making miso soup is very simple. So all you need to do is prepare two things, miso and that's it. So what is miso? Miso is a fermented soybean paste that is used in many Japanese dishes. It is made by boiling soybeans and then crushing them into a paste. The paste is then mixed with salt and fermentation starter koji fungus. The mixture is then aged for several months. It has a rich, salty flavor and is often used in soups, stews, and marinades. It is also used as an ingredient in sauces, pickles, and spreads. So a fermentation starter called koji fungus is a type of mold ordinarily found all around us. And the mold is basically toxic. We Japanese have a history of finding a non-poisonous type from the poisonous one. And we have been using it for more than 1,000 years, not only for making miso, but also for making soy sauce for the shoyu or Japanese wine called sake. Since miso is a food that matures using mold, in other words, miso is a food like cheese. Koji mold can be ground using cooked rice and barley and wheat and soybean that contain starch or protein. Depending on the type of grains used as substrates for growing koji mold, the taste of miso can vary widely. Yeah, I show some typical examples. If you, first one is this one. If you use koji mold grown from barley, you will end up with barley miso that is sweet and whitish in color, like this. And second one is if you use koji mold grown from rice, you will end up with rice miso that is yellowish in color with a balance of saltiness and umami in taste. And the third one is if you use koji, will end up, koji mold grown from soybeans, you will end up with this bean miso. That is dark, dark brown in color with a complex mixture of umami, sourness, and bitterness. So today, I have brought 3 typical types from Japan. Why don't you try?
Yes, sure.
So I told you how to make tasting 300 miso. So, you pick up, you use the spoon, disposable spoon, typically one, and you put small amount of miso like this, and then you put on the nut of finger like this. This one is rice miso. もう2本スプーン使ってそう。This one is and put on the favorite finger. And
もう、前に。
はい。回してください。これ That's right. Okay. That's all you need. And you try to taste, right?
Miso remember me mole.
Pardon?
Mole and miso.
It's not more. Every different. Okay.
But yeah, it's similar.
But
I love mole sauce.
The consistency.
mole is not fermented. So this type of gradient is fermented by koji mold. So you enjoy the different taste among 3 type of miso. Basically, the taste is salty, but you can feel the different types of flavor.
Un poco de la negra, si quieres.
It sounds weird.
How do you feel? Salty? Only salty?
Like soy sauce.
Está muy rica.
A ver. La negra sabe como a salsa de soya. The black one is soy miso. The dark one.
That one is soy miso.
Soy miso. It tastes a little bit like soy sauce.
Yes, yes.
But yeah, it's bitter
Yeah, bitter.
compared to the
Mhm.
other ones.
I like the dark one. I like the dark one better.
No, I like this
The
one.
white one.
Yeah.
It's like smelly fish.
No, it's not like smelly fish.
So
It's
now,
bitter.
okay, we try.
But why don't you try the other one?
And then now that you have miso, let's get another ingredient called dashi. And dashi is the soup stock used in Japanese cooking. The core ingredient of Japanese dashi are seafood and mushroom. Among these next three materials here are the most frequently used. The first one is katsuobushi. And katsuobushi is the dry, fermented, and smoked and thick tuna.
De lunes a jueves.
This one,
No, pensé que el blanco.
dried tuna. Great.
Es bonito.
And the second one is kombu. This one, that one. That is, do you know what is the kombu?
Seaweed.
Seaweed, yes. The carrot, the sea carrot, dry sea carrot. That is, and the third one is shiitake mushroom.
I like
That is edible mushroom native to East Asia. Most commonly found in Japan.
¿Cómo es el mismo que el del sushi?
So, what they all have in common is that they all possess umami flavor components, and it is used as a base not only for the miso soup, but also for noodles, broth, and many other Japanese dishes. So, let's try. Katsuobushi great.
Bonitos flakes esos. I like those. Esos son los que cortaron una vez con un...
This is kombu flake.
Like it.
Como la comida se le dan a los peces.
Yep.
No flakes. Tuna flakes.
Bonito flakes. Bonito.
Please compare the taste
Oh,
Not pretty.
tuna.
No,
and the
bonito.
flavor again.
Bonito seco. Bonito is the...
Ah,
Bonito is the name of the fish.
ah.
It's not tuna, it's stronger flavor.
Exactly.
Bonito.
Dice que no es bonito.
Kombu.
No sé si es bonito, no, pero...
Kombu.
¿Kombu? Pero es como... Dalia, kombu. Thank you.
You are welcome. It's kombu. I see.
My favorite so far.
Sorry.
My favorite so far.
All right.
It's salty.
Salty.
It's salty and crunchy.
Thanks a lot.
It's a different type of wheat from the sushi one.
Yeah. You mean the nori?
Nori, it's for sushi.
Different types of.
Okay. Nori for sushi, kombu for miso soup.
Or some Japanese soup dishes. Ah, yeah, sorry about that.
Which one?
Ada pencaikan.
Why? Sensei, yes. But I want to try this one too.
Okay.
What is this one?
Okay.
Oh, well,
You don't understand the secret is necessary for the.
this is some dried soup. ¿Sabe como a camarón deshidratado, no?
Do you know miso is available at in Mexico? You can buy at the Mikata supermarket.
Soy food.
If you like miso, please buy.
Soy food.
On the other hand, unfortunately, I don't know where you can buy like satay and comfort in Mexico.
¿Soya?
But you don't mind. You can take dashi, that can be made from food that you usually buy. For example, tomatoes are rich in umami ingredient, glutamic acid, like kombucha, which is delicious when added to miso soup. And instead of shiitake, you can use western mushroom, which also produce a good broth. And cheese. This is Osaka cheese. Miso is, as I said, miso is a food that's matured by mold like cheese, so it goes very well with miso. So put these foods and miso in a cup and pour in hot water, and you have a delicious miso. So I prepare all of the things. You can try make your own miso soup.
Yoo-hoo.
Thank you very much.
Entonces,こちらの方で、お味噌汁を作るということ。
はい。作って食べてください。Try.
Ustedes mismos van a preparar para el mundo, entonces.
Ya llevamos para allá, ¿no? La llevamos para allá.
はい。あ、村上先生か誰かが